Hello everyone, back for my review. Um, so again, Midtech had sent me two knives recently that I got in, and I did quite a bit of, cutting with them, testing the edge, and also just opening and closing, seeing if they would misfire. And so now, after all that's said and done, and carrying them around and stuff, and just spending a lot of time using them as well, I've come to give my review. So before I do the review on the other one, which is the Mickey OD, I'm going to do a review on their newest offering, the Wharncliffe. So if you watched my initial review, my first impressions video, did mention that the sheath was not sewn very well on one side, so it popped off pretty easily. And again, that's no biggie to me because I use the pocket clip more than the sheath. It's rare that I'm going to use the sheath, let's be honest. Maybe for storage, but as far as carrying it around on my belt, probably not. So this does come with a pocket clip. I prefer using the pocket clip, and it is reversible. So again, this is the Wharncliffe one, and you see it has red hardware and the nice X pattern there. I really like that. And the ball bearing glass breaker, which can be removed. You could switch the pocket clip over. And also, if you saw my first impression video as well, did mention that it's kind of hard to see on here, but some of the coating looks scratched off on these two. But again, no big deal to me. Overall, aesthetically, it's a very pleasing to look at knife. And deployment-wise, deploys fairly well. It doesn't feel quite as strong as some of their other offerings. You see it has that Wharncliffe designed blade, kind of the reverse Tanto style. It's made of D2 steel. And got that nice satin finish. And I like this because you can really choke up on the blade. Like when I was cutting cardboard with it, it was nice to really choke up on the blade and use it. The edge did not come the sharpest. It was fairly sharp for most of the... pretty good sharpness until you get to about here. And then it was a little rough here near the tip. So I have touched it up, so it's pretty sharp throughout now. And as far as the tip is concerned, you can pierce with this pretty good. It won't be the best, but you can get some good penetration with that tip. And as I mentioned in that first impressions review, I think this would be good for like a rescue knife because of the way it's shaped. But it could also work as a self-defense knife. Now, as far as mine, would I carry it for self-defense? I don't know. Wondering if you can hear that. There's a lot of rattle to the blade when it's deployed. Not really much of anything when closed, but when deployed, there's just a lot of rattle to it. And I would say that's my only gripe, really. It did disengage on me a number of times. My first, once I got it, I got it out of the packaging, opened and closed it a number of times, but it kept disengaging. Well, I wouldn't say kept disengaging, but it disengaged a number of times on me. I did put in some oil, and now it's working pretty well. It did disengage on me just once earlier today, but other than that, the rest of the time, it's actually been working pretty good. So the deployment's good. I do like this button. The jimping is actually really good on the button. The handle is aluminum, so it's very lightweight. And you really feel that in your hand. It just feels very light. And it has pretty decent thickness to it. It terminates in a fine tip. Overall, I will say that I do recommend it. I think it's a very nice knife overall. Though, again, I think that rattling is a little, just I'm concerned about that, I will say. But otherwise, again, it's working. It cuts really well. I mean, especially if it comes in a really good sharpness. You get it really sharp, it's gonna do a great job cutting through cardboard and stuff. And again, I do like the fact that you could choke up on the blade like that really well and do some really fine work with that tip. But yeah, overall, and this is probably just one of those that slip through the cracks, but if you're big on sheaths, then, hopefully yours is stitched together much better than that one was. But I have to say, out of all the ones that Midtech has sent me, this one's the one that, again, has the most rattle, and the screws having a little bit of scratching on them right out of the box, and then the sheath, like that, and then it misfiring a whole bunch right out of the box. That's I mean, I do like it, and I overall like the design, the look, the feel of it, and it just, those are some low marks on it, just a tad bit, not, nothing major. It's not, I'm not gonna say I don't recommend it. I do. You'll probably get one, hopefully you'll get one that's much better than, that's just in immaculate condition, sheath and knife. But nevertheless, I still do recommend it. I do like it a whole lot. I mean, because after all, that stuff's just minor stuff to me, and having some blade play is inherent in the design of an OTF knife. It's just this one happens to have probably the most play I've seen of any OTF that I've ever had. And that's probably just mine, again, for all I know. But otherwise, it hasn't failed me when I've been using it, and the pocket clip's very sturdy. And I have to say, they have very tight pocket clips on these. They're definitely not going to slip out of your pocket. And again, with a little bit of oil, that deployment is really good. So, yeah, I recommend it, nevertheless. So, anyway, thanks for watching.